Devil Survivor is a side game in Atlus's popular Shin Megami Tensei. I'm probably butchering that series. Shin Megami Tensei is notorious for being extremely difficult, having very complicated, often bizarre plots, um, and also just being very innovative, deep, and interesting, especially compared with other game series. They're kind of the JRPG of JRPGs, kind of like Dark Souls. They tend to focus very heavily on idealism, and I mean this in kind of the Germanic sense, like where characters represent different ideals. They almost always have a lot of different decisions, a lot of different endings, um, and they feature extremely strongly various aspects of mythology, especially in Devil Survivor. So Devil Survivor is, I believe, supposed to be some sort of kind of an introduction to the series. Devil Survivor is a hybrid between a visual novel and a tactical RPG. So you have turns. You move units around a map. If you play Tactics Ogre, Fire Emblem, or Final Fantasy Tactics, the thing should be very immediately recognizable. And in between battles, you wander around Tokyo. There's all kinds of different parts of Tokyo, and events will come up. You have a day. The days vary in length. Normally, you go to bed around 7 and get up around 7, and every action you do takes half an hour. So you might say, "Oh, there's a character. Let's go talk to them. Let's go investigate this. There's a major event, etc." And you can miss things. I think there's 6 endings. We'll talk about the endings in a minute. And if you don't talk to certain people, etc., then you won't get the ending. And this is kind of supposed to help replayability because you won't be able to get to even a majority of the conversations in the game. Some characters you might ignore altogether, and if you miss some conversations, they'll chain to future conversations, etc., etc. So generally speaking, I'd recommend to kind of maybe look up what you need to do to follow a certain ending. The endings are actually pretty long, like the entire last day or two of the game is based on what ending you choose. So it's not insignificant. Also, most of the conversations are pretty good, so you'll want to do it. Normally speaking, when I play these games, because I played 1 and 2, I have favorite characters, and whenever they pop up, I'll go talk to them. And then I have people whose story I don't really care about, so I won't talk to them at all. Overall, though, this was a very good game. I think Devil Survivor 2 was much better. But let's talk a little more about the gameplay. So it's kind of like Pokemon, but with demons, hence the title Devil Survivor. So how it works is you have 4 teams. Each team is led by a human, and they have 2 demons with them. Now, demons don't just mean demons. You get ogres, orcs, demons like Beelzebub or Belial or Lucifer, or you can also get gods like Loki, Odin, different kind of Chinese Aztec deities. You can get Quetzalcoatlus. So you get all these different demons. When you kill enemies, you get Maca, and you can use Maca in an auction house to buy more demons. So all the demons have skills. In this game, you have 3 active skills, be that like a strong physical attack, be it like a magical spell, be it healing, be it reflect, something like that. 3 passive abilities, and demons get 1 racial ability, and humans get 1 auto ability. Now, for demons, the skills are preset. You can't change them. However, the skills will be, you can fuse demons together, which creates a new, more powerful demon. And there's certain fusion formulas you can use, etc. Like you can fuse a couple demons together to make Shiva, for instance, who's a lot more power than the individual ones have. And there's a lot of strategy because some demons are physical attackers and some demons are like magical attackers, and some demons are fast and others are slow. So you don't want to merge like two demons that have a bunch of magical skills together to get a physical demon, because they won't be able to use them very well. No main character has a preset skill. How it works is you have an ability called Crack, where you can crack any skill an enemy has. So at the start of the battle, you choose for each character a skill to crack, and if they kill that enemy, you get that skill, and it goes into your pool. Those skills are in your pool for the rest of the game, and you can customize all your people. And this can be very useful. Like for certain, a lot of the skills can be very good. Like there's null physical attacks, there's reflect physical attacks, there's immunity to most things. There's all kinds of useful stuff. There's regain MP every battle. So, like in Devil Survivor 2, the last boss uses exclusively physical attacks. So, what I did was I just had one team that was entirely composed of people with reflect physical, and he got, I think, 6 turns for every one you took, and he just killed himself because they just all reflected back at him, and he died that way. So you can do that. This game is hard as balls. The second one's much harder. So you win by gaming the system. You win by planning it out, going, what is the boss weak against? What's the boss strong against? How can I just do it? And because the game's so hard, it's okay to not kill every enemy. Some games, some levels where you're fighting a hard boss, you just want to rush the boss and kill them as quick as possible. Units don't recover MP in this game unless you have a skill called Blood Wine, which angels get, where they turn some of their health into magic. There's also a couple of skills that let you recover MP, but by and large, you just can't. So the battles can only last a certain amount of time. So that's kind of the gameplay. It's a lot of fun. It's really addictive. What they did put in mercifully is something called free battle, where at any point in the game, if you want to grind, you can go and do free battles. There's hard free battle and normal free battle. Hard free battle will basically make enemies that are stronger than you, and normal free battle will make enemies that are about your level, and it doesn't take time. So, like if you're stuck on a boss, you can just go do free battles as many times as you want. However, there's a pretty steep penalty to experience for killing enemies below your level. So gameplay is really fun, very strategic, very tactical. It's hard. Now, there's 2 versions of the game. There's Devil Survivor 1 for the DS, and then there's Devil Survivor Overclocked for the 3DS. Now, the 3DS one has full voice acting, improved graphics, a couple features they added from Devil Survivor 2, and more endings. It also has a difficulty mode. Now, I would recommend getting the 3DS copies of both games because this game is hard. Devil Survivor 1's a lot easier, so you could probably get away with playing normal. But if you're not that good at JRPGs, I'd say just get the easy mode. It's a lot easier. It's just a lot less hassle. Like I still died a couple times on easy mode, but it felt like a more even difficulty. Whereas Devil Survivor 2, which is much harder to begin with, I played on normal and it kicked my ass. It was probably the hardest video game I've ever beaten. Plus, the voice acting's good. Notably, one of the main characters, Astro, that's him there, is played by Spike Spencer, and he has a Shinji voice, so that's pretty cool. So let's talk about the plot. The plot to Devil Survivor is basically you meet up with your 2 friends, Astro and Yuzu, also known as Yuhu. That's Astro here in the white hat, and that's Yuhu. That's her nickname with the red hair. So you meet up with them, and only to find a bunch of alarms go off, the electricity goes out, and Tokyo's in a lockdown. The JIDF shows up. I know they're JDF, but I watch a lot of EVA, so we'll say it's JIDF. The JIDF shows up and cordons off Tokyo. No one can get in or out. And they announce that the lockdown will last for the next 7 or 8 days. While this is happening, you meet up with your elusive cousin Naoyo, and he gives you a set of modified DSs, which is kind of funny because you play the game on a DS and they give you a DS in game. You quickly find out that what these DSs can do is they can summon demons. Demons, keep in mind, includes gods, any kind of mythical creature. It also contains something in it called a harmonizer, which allows you to use demon abilities. Like you can makes you like physically able to hit them. It gives you access to spells, etc. Later, a JIDF member gets one, and it makes their guns able to work against demons. Otherwise, demons are immune to all normal force. Um, and there's been an outbreak of demons, and the demons start killing everyone within the city. Meanwhile, a apocalyptic cult, Shimyoki, we'll just call them the cult, shows up and begins announcing that the demons destroying Tokyo and the lockdown are part of the last judgment. That this is a test, and if humanity succeeds, they will ascend to a new level of spiritual existence. If they fail, God will destroy the world, and this will be kind of played out throughout the game. So at this point in time, um, you largely can kind of do what you want and kind of follow your own story. At the end of most days, there'll be a boss fight against a bell demon. Now, kind of the overarching plot line is it's kind of a grand tournament. There was once an extremely powerful demon. I forget his name. I think it's Beelzebub. No, Belial. Yeah, I think it's Belial. Um, who was strong enough to challenge God. However, God defeated him and split him into six pieces and six individual demons and scattered them throughout hell. All the Bell demons, though, are coming to fight one another, and each time one of them defeats the other, he absorbs them and gets their power. So the idea is if they can all reform into one demon, then they'll be able to stand up to God again. So the question is, who's behind all of this? You have your cousin who created all the comps, as they're called, that let them summon demons, and he's been giving them out to random people, including members of the cult all have them. A lot of civilians have them, and in the desperation, it leads to a breakdown of law and order, and people begin to use the comps to steal from people, to steal money, to steal food, to just kill people for fun. And that triggers reprisals where humans start killing people who contain demons. And it kind of degenerates into a chaotic mess. So, throughout the game, you meet different people, and this kind of determines who you side with. So, I'm just going to go over the ones I talk to. So, we have the main character, who's the guy with the headphones. He's a silent protagonist. You can give him kind of whatever personality you want. We have Asturo, who is also the main character, levels up whatever stats you want. Asturo is your kind of nerdy best friend. He was an apprentice to your cousin. Your cousin Naoyo is over here. Um, he's the one who created the comps. Asturo is a nerdy guy. I guess we'll talk a bit about endings. His ending is you use the comps to hack the server where the demons come from. By the way, how they summon it is they use the energy generated by the collective will of humanity, which is broadcast over the internet, combined with a computerized version of a summoning ritual to call forth demons, which is pretty cool. So he finds a way to use them to hack the server, and you gain control over all demons, and you can produce comps at will. So it leads to a new age where the government, military, and other trustworthy people are able to use demons to make huge advancements in technology and improvements in living, because demons can perform acts that no human can hope to do. Yoo-Hoo is kind of the everyman. She's the character who always wants things explained to her. Obviously, because she's the female lead, she has a crush on the main character. It's revealed at one point that she's an atheist, which is kind of interesting. Although I assume most of the Japanese public more or less is, at least in a Western sense. Um, she's the one who's the most focused on escaping. And if you decide to side with her, you escape at the end of the eighth day. And escaping Tokyo involves breaking through the JIDF, which destroys their blockade, and demons get out and eat the world. We have Midori, who is a cosplay idol who gets a comp and immediately decides that she's a superhero. So she's kind of simple minded and frankly kind of retarded, and she runs around trying to save people. She calls herself Super Magical Girl Dolly, and she's in one of her cosplay uniforms, and she runs around summoning demons to try and protect people, which is a noble goal. But as Yakuza members begin to get their hands on comps, combined with the fact she's using demons, um, the public starts to try to turn on demon summoners. And the public almost kills her, but she's saved by the protagonist team in combination with Kensuke. Now, Kensuke is probably my favorite character. He's basically an edgelord. Um, Basically, his whole focus is justice. So, at one point, he just has a freak out after Midori almost gets killed by a lynch mob. And he says, "It's my duty to punish all of humanity for its sins." He's very supportive of the side with God ending because that creates a world of order. But his will to bring justice is so strong, he summons forth Yama. Now, in Asian mythology, Yama is the god of hell. He's the one who judges the souls of the dead. So he goes around with Yama and basically kills anyone who Yama says are worthy of death. Now you may be going, that's kind of harsh, but most of the people he kills are like rapists, murderers, people who stole food from other people. Most of the people he kills kind of have it coming. They're kind of horrific people. Now I forgot to mention kind of one of the most important aspects of the game. The leader of a team who hold comps has the ability to see the death clock. Everybody who has less than 8 days to live has a clock above their head that says how many days they have left. Um, and so you will throughout the story see how long people have to live. The JIDF soldiers don't have a clock because they're outside of the thing. They have more than 8 days. So everyone will have a different number, and yes, these numbers can change. Every morning you get an email called the Laplace mail, after the famous mathematician Laplace. Also, we have Laplace's demon, so it's kind of like a reference there. I think Laplace said if you know all the mathematics, you can predict the future. So the Laplace mail uses a complex system of algorithms and mathematical equations to predict what will happen. So it'll say today Midori will die at 5 o'clock at this location. This person will die at this location, etc., etc. So yeah, so you have all those different things that come up, and then there's kind of the theme of fate versus free will, um, where people will die unless you save them. So you can let destiny take its course, or you can basically let people die. It's up to you. Some of them you have to save, some of them you don't. But like there'll be days where your death clock's at 0, and that normally means you have to fight a boss to get out alive. But it's a very interesting mechanic, and it kind of helps to direct the flow of the game. So who else do we have to talk about? We have Miss Mari, who I didn't really talk to, who's a teacher, and her love interest is this guy on the far right, who's a Yakuza member, who uses the comp to just kill people and steal money. Then we have Mname, I think her name is, who's complete waifu material. Um, she's probably the biggest waifu in this game. She is the maiden of the Shomokai, the cult. She's the daughter of the founder of the cult, and she was raised since birth to be a great religious leader, which combined with her beauty and charisma, she's basically the public face of the cult. Now, as the story progresses, we learn that the cult's plan is they were the ones in part who brought about the ordeal. Their goal was to use the ordeal um, to have the tournament between the bells and to summon the most powerful bell demon and have him absorb all the other bells, and then they would control him, and they could overthrow God, and then they could have their God ruling. Most of the members, though, just believe that it's kind of like a Christian religion with apocalyptic tones, so they think they're doing this all to serve God, but the founder has his ambition to overthrow God and become the ruler of the universe. So as we go through the game, and this is in particular in the route I chose, because I chose the side with God route, she reveals that she's become possessed by Metatron, the angel. He came to her and she accepted him into her heart. And Metatron tells you that the lockdown was caused because the angels asked the JIDF to set up the blockade. The Angels have also basically told the JIDF to nuke Tokyo in 7 days if it's not over, to prevent the rest of humanity from being devoured by demons. Metatron says this is humanity's chance. God could send his legions of angels down and merely crush the demons himself, but if he did so, he would have to take away humanity's free will and bring about the apocalypse. Instead, he's merely quarantining them and letting humanity have a chance to kind of redeem themselves. So that's interesting. So you can talk to Metatron throughout it. Um, and Iname is basically just loyal to God and to God's vision of the future, which is a world of order, a world of loyalty, a world of truth. I guess the destruction of all lies. So if you follow her path, you're going to come into conflict with a lot of the other people, most notably Naoyo. Now turns out that Naoyo is actually Cain from the Bible, and you're a descendant of Abel. Now Cain's ultimate plan was he wanted you to defeat the other demons, to defeat the Bells, become the king of Bel, and then help him in his plan to challenge God for mastery of creation, so that he could become the new God. And he could get his revenge because God cursed Cain to be reincarnated an infinite number of times and never to go to heaven nor hell, to live an eternal existence on the earth. So you have to fight him, you have to fight a bunch of other people, etc. So the first Bel you fight is Belder, obviously a takeoff of the Nordic god Balder. And he's interesting because he wished for to be immune to everything. So only one thing in creation can hurt him, which is mistletoe. So you get like a mistletoe like keychain for your phone, and that lets you hurt him. Only the main character can hurt him, and only with only with physical attacks. Everything else just bounces off of him. So Belder's the first one. Then you also fight Beelzebub, Belberith. Um, the last boss is Babel, um, and then there's Jezebel. So there's all the different bells, and every time you defeat them, you absorb their power, and you become stronger and stronger. And Loki's there as well. The last boss in the game is Babel. So in the route I took, after I killed all of the demons and got the full power of Bel, I then bowed before God. And God declares you to be the Messiah and the eternal King of this world. So in the Kingdom of the Saints ending, you side with Imane and the angels. Um, so let's see here. Um, so yes, you become the Messiah. The world becomes a place of perfect justice, contentment, but humanity loses most of its freedom. Now, it's not like the ending where the angels come down and you create a totalitarian society, but you create a world of order. So there's that ending. There's also the Song of Hope ending, where basically this character here, Haru, is a pop idol, and her song can control demons. So you can use her to shut off the link with the other world and banish all the demons forever. and the government just covers it up as hallucinations due to a gas leak, and everything goes back to normal. There's Silent Revolution, where you help Asturo take control of the server and create a new golden age with demons serving humans. There's the one where you become the king of humans. You become the king of demons, and then you go to fight God. There's the one where you just escape and it triggers the collapse. So ultimately, your path in the game will be determined by what character you find most convincing. Most of the characters will have logical and interesting motives. Some are more mysterious, some are less so. And it's kind of up to you to choose which path you want to take throughout the game. I would recommend picking one as early as possible because to get it, you have to keep talking to people over and over again. And even then, you still might miss it. Even so, and even if you kind of get a bad ending, there's a new game plus mode where you can start over and take a lot of your stuff with you so you can get through the game a lot faster if you just want to play for a story mode. I'd recommend probably just playing easy mode unless you're familiar with the series or you really want a challenge. Easy mode in Devil Survivor is still harder than most other games. I think all easy mode actually does is it gives you a bonus to XP and money, which isn't even that big a deal. It just means you have to grind a bit less, which is not really that bad to me as far as bonuses go. So I guess it's ultimately about who you find sympathetic and what kind of world you want to create. This theme is explored a lot more directly in the sequel. Overall, Devil Survivor 1 is not as deep as the sequel. The characters aren't nearly as good, and the endings are nowhere near as good. Also, it lacks the epic scale of the sequel. Nevertheless, it is one of the best DS games of all time. It serves as a great introduction to a great series that I hope to play more of. I just got Shin Megami Tensei 4, and I'll do a review of that whenever I finish it. Devil Survivor is definitely a good game. If you don't have it and you have a DS or a 3DS, I recommend going and buying this in Devil Survivor 2 as soon as you can. Along with the Fire Emblem games, this is a series that I'd always buy the next game in. Like for the Fire Emblem games, if I hear one's coming out, I just pre-order it. I don't even look at the reviews, and I just get it. The Devil Survivor games are like that. If and when Devil Survivor 3 comes out, I'll just buy it because I love the series. So hopefully that gave you kind of a taste of what the game's like. I hope there was enough kind of thematic depth. It's harder to do video games just because the plot of a video game is like 30 hours long compared to a movie which is like 2 hours long. So it's a lot harder to kind of get through the different stuff. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later.